Welcome, everybody, to podcast episode 382.
And this week, we talk about how a mobile RV tech can save you from being sidelined on the road. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike, and this is Jennifer, my lifelong traveling companion and my bride. Hello, my dear.
Hello, Michael.
Well, last week we came to you from Okaloosa Island, Florida, and we're still there. But last week we intentionally went out on the beautiful sunny beach, blue skies, blue water. Well, today we're giving you the reality. We want to be completely honest and show you what it's like there. It's gray.
It's not that cold, but the dampness, the humidity is freezing.
It's about 53 degrees, I think.
It's freezing.
Now, the average temperature this time of year is
65, isn't it?
65 degrees, yeah.
A little colder than normal.
So it's been like everywhere else in much of the country where it gets nice and warm or normal, and then it just plunges down to way below normal temperatures for 2 or 3 days. Then it comes back up again, usually with rain or snow if you're up north. It's been a really screwy climate everywhere this winter. So just want to let you know that it isn't all sunshine and nice, beautiful beaches. It's so great you can hardly tell the sky from the water out there. We hit the road this week.
On our way to Tennessee.
Going to go hang out at our property at the Woodlands at Buffalo River, where we have 5 acres and we're developing, which will eventually be 3 little RV campsites for ourselves and friends to use from time to time. We're putting in full utilities, and we have been struggling there with weather as well, trying to get it all done. Rain. Well, they had an ice storm the other day.
That's true. They don't normally get snow.
And they had ice storm and snow. So, but we will be there this week, and on February 12th, Saturday, February 12th, Jennifer's birthday, we'll be on the property, and that happens to be the day that the Woodlands at Buffalo River are having a one-day sale where people are coming in and looking at property. And since we're going to be there, we said if anybody asks where we are, just give them directions, and we invite folks to come out and see our property. We're only going to be there till about
3.
3?
Yeah, about 3.
Yeah, because we have to go to Nashville. So one thing about this property, it's only an hour and a half from Nashville. In fact, they call that area Nashville's big backyard. Mm-hmm. And our son and his family live there, and we're going to go celebrate Jen's birthday there on Saturday night. So during the day, we'd love to meet you out on the property. So that's the plan. And then I think after that, we're going to go back to Michigan for a couple of weeks. We got some things to do there. But then we're turning around, and by early March, we'll be right back here. So
right back in the south.
So less than just a couple of weeks we'll be gone, and we're coming right back down to Florida. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, our interview of the week. So stay with us. Have you ever thought of owning your own land for camping or a homestead? Tennessee Land and Lakes is selling off a 1,500-acre estate known as the Woodlands at Buffalo River in large acreage properties from 5 to 126-acre homesteads. Unlike most properties, these are virtually unrestricted, allowing year-round living in an incredible natural setting. These are multi-use properties. You can camp on them, build a dream house if you want, a cabin, a barn, a garage. It's your land, and there's no HOA, no rules. It's your property, your way. There's high-speed fiber optic internet available, wooded trails, and big views, surrounded by the most popular destination spots in Tennessee like Nashville, Kentucky Lake, and the Buffalo River. The pricing starts at $69.9. There's even great financing. Jennifer and I like it so much that we bought there. Take a video tour and get the details at myrvland.com. When we're on a road trip, we always seem to find a way to stop at a Camping World center. There are over 225 Camping World locations across the country, and there's always one close by when we need parts and accessories for our RV or just want to shop. In fact, We have so much fun with Camping World, and as we talk about it as one of our sponsors, they have agreed to offer a 10% discount if you use the coupon code RVLifestyle10 when you buy $99 or more in merchandise. You'll find everything you want, from outdoor furniture and appliances, the ones you see us use in our videos and we talk about here in the podcast. RV extras that include everything from camping chairs to fire pits, electrical accessories, must-have gadgets. Check them all out. And again, don't forget, use the coupon code RVLifestyle10 when you visit campingworld.com.
Welcome back to the interview of the week, and I think you're really going to enjoy this. It's like, what do you do when you have a breakdown when you're on the road? And maybe you've called a camping repair place nearby, a sales place, and they can't get you in for weeks. Well, what do you do?
And that is a problem. What's happened to us. And the solution, we've talked about this before, but we haven't gone into it the depth that we're going to today. The solution is a mobile RV tech. Now, as we get into this interview, we should talk a little bit about what a mobile RV tech is. They are just that. They are a trained, hopefully, when you find one, certified RV technician that's familiar with all the basic parts and structures of your RV. They can fix, well, with just a few exceptions, just about everything. One of the best places for RV techs to get trained is something called the RVTI, the RV Technical Institute in Elkhart, Indiana. We visited there 2 or 3 years ago when they first were started, and they were announcing this program to train a lot of new techs. Well, that is well underway, a really advanced curriculum. We're going to talk to the executive director of the RVTI, and we are going to talk to a mobile tech who is going to tell us what it's like being a mobile tech. This is maybe a job that some of you may want, because you can get trained, and heavens knows there's a lot of work out there. But also, and more importantly, for all of you, if we break down on the road, you don't have to worry about being stranded waiting for an RV dealer to take you in. When there's a mobile tech, it will come right to where you are, and more times than not, fix the problem. So let's get to the interview of the week. Well, Kurt and Charlie join us now, and we are delighted to have you guys with us. Let me start, Kurt, with you. The last time I visited you guys down there in Elkhart, there was some concern about how long it was taking at many dealerships to get service because there weren't enough techs. Now, that's been a couple of years. Give us a quick update on where you have gone since then.
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on the show, Mike. And I'd love to say that we fixed it all, but that would not be the case, because we had this thing called a pandemic that took a problem, made it, accelerated it quite a bit. I will say this though, as far as RVTI is, we're going into year 3, and we have created the program. We have delivery models. What I mean by that is it's online, it's in person, or a hybrid of. So we have all the devices ready to go to do the training across the country. The problem with the need for techs is still there. The pandemic, obviously, with over 600,000 units being sold, and that's just this past year, and those things going on. The need is still there. Some things though have definitely improved. Obviously, the interest is very high in the training. There has been steps made in parts availability. The industry as a whole has really come together. And when I say the industry, the manufacturers, suppliers, the dealers, the mobile techs, I mean the campgrounds, we're meeting regularly to obviously continue to address the need for technicians and to improve the consumer experience so they're not waiting quite as long for the coach.
Well, one of the most encouraging things that I have seen has been the development and and we're starting to see this across the country, of mobile techs. And Charlie, that's where you come in. Before I get to Charlie and what it's like being a mobile tech, Kurt, what's involved in getting trained as a mobile tech? This seems like this is a pretty good way a lot of people could supplement their income who might be interested as well.
Yeah, definitely. As we go into 2022, this is the year of recruitment for RVTI. We have subsidized funding from within the industry, where we have actually moved some money from the Go RVing side of the house because to address this need. And as a result of that, for example, right now we have a class going on here in Elkhart, and 80% of the class is mobile techs. They're not affiliated directly with any dealership. The curriculum is created to meet the need of mobile techs as well as dealer techs, as well as independents, or if you have a desire to become an inspector. I mean, our curriculum built off of the standards of the industry to address all of the needs. And keeping in mind that, Mike, the whole purpose of RVTI was to create a national standardized program to professionalize an industry that just hasn't been in that professional state before.
Well, we applaud all of your efforts. I was so impressed when I was down there 2 years ago, and we'll be down in a couple weeks now. I'll give you a buzz. I'd like to see it again. Now, please. Charlie, tell us what a mobile tech does, how you became one, and what's involved in your day-to-day life as a mobile tech.
Well, if you'd asked me in my 20s when I was working in the marine industry, working on boats, if I'd be working on RVs one day, I wouldn't have believed you, but it's been one of the most rewarding things that I've been able to do. So I come from a mechanical background. I've worked in aviation, the marine industry, manufacturing. And then about 3 years ago, my wife and I up and sold everything and decided we were going to do this full-time lifestyle. Well, I always had a good set of tools that I carried with me, and I found myself I was helping a lot of my friends on the road. With a lot of rallies, a lot of people that got word that I could fix something, and so I started spending a lot of time doing that, working on my own rig. And then I realized out there, there's so much demand for somebody just to show up. There was not dependability in the industry for mobile techs then. I think it's grown quite a bit now, and I think there are a lot more channels now to be able to become a mobile tech if it's something you want to do. And that's where RVTI came in for me. Was I knew how to work on things, I knew how to fix things. I needed some training, some formal training on things that maybe I've missed on my own working on it. So once I went to RVTI, did my 1 and 2 level certifications, I was able to feel confident enough going out there and expanding what I'd already worked on and what I was working on, and start now growing my business to support myself and my family on the road. So,
Kurt, how do people find a mobile tech? I think so many people. I get email all the time. I have something break, and I called a dealer in the area I'm at. They told me that they can see me in 4 weeks. This is where a mobile tech is a lifesaver, literally, for your RV. But how do people find one?
Yeah, there's obviously a multitude of ways of doing it. I will tell you a few of the most popular is simply, it would be nice if your rig would break down when it's sitting in storage or in your parking or in your driveway. But for the most part, it happens when you're out trying to enjoy and have a good experience. So as a result of that, campgrounds. Campgrounds are loaded with mobile techs who are there. They make themselves known. Some stay for periods of time. In fact, I just was part of a campground forum that RVIA put on as we start to look at the campground and their desire to professionalize and have mobile techs available as a service to folks. So that's one way, Mike. The other is a lot of the social media outlets have mobile techs attached to them. If you're into RVing, you have Togo out there. But as Charlie identified there, it is definitely becoming much easier. And of course, you can always call RVTI if you need some help with that. But they're out there, and we are doing our best for, like Charlie mentioned, is to professionalize it. So when you are out there, you can show your certification, similar to the auto world, where you have ASE certification. This is really the model that we have created, is a national recognized certification that mobile techs can achieve so that they can go out and market themselves.
Charlie, as a mobile tech, what can you do and what can't you do?
Well, we don't know what we don't know until we get there, right? So I guess I'll answer that with what I can do. And one of the things that I use a lot is that make yourself resourceful. One thing, just to answer that last question you asked, Curtis, was how do you find a mobile tech? And one thing that I think a mobile tech has a lot of roles to fill, not just as a mechanic or someone who can repair something, or as training. You're a consultant. I happen to live full time in my RV and travel, so I know how important it is to not be able to not have to have my rig taken into a shop and me be in a hotel for $1,000 that week. So, I think acting as a consultant, having your customer's best interest in mind, getting out in RV parks and networking, when you pull in.
Yeah, I think my question is more consumer oriented. I'm an RVer. I've got my air conditioner is now working, and I'm in Texas, and it's 90 degrees. Is that something I would call a mobile tech for?
Absolutely. And you would call a mobile tech. There's going to be some heavy line stuff, and depending on insurance carriers and who that tech carries, you may or may not be able to get your drivetrain, brakes, bearings, stuff like that worked on. So there are specialists in that area, but there are some jobs that insurance companies like to have done in a proper shop with heavy equipment, things like that.
What we have found, Mike, is from a mobile tech standpoint, obviously they're limited for heavy fixes, as Charlie points out.
You're not going to pull an engine out of a motorhome, right? I think we.
But for the most part, they can get you back going. They can get you back going. They can get you comfortable. And I mean by that, whether it be air conditioning, whether it be heating, whether it be an awning repair, a slide out, push back in or something. Charlie mentioned the greatest thing they can give you is just experience and knowledge and direction. And so, I started in the industry 3 years ago. I was brought in to build this school. And I will tell you, the industry has never been more aligned and focused on the mobile tech. When I got here, quite honestly, there was, I would say there was interest, there was discussion, but not the alignment. Today, it is critical that these mobile techs are trained in. And we have a class going on right now, and 80% of them are mobile techs, as I mentioned earlier. And that's really become the norm.
And
so
sorry, go ahead. To Curtis's point, the class that I did my level 1 certification online, my level 2 in-house, stayed a month in Elkhart. 100% of my class were all mobile techs or inspectors. Yeah. It was a really interesting thing because there is a little bit of a different mindset than a dealership sending you out to get certified. There was a lot more, I would say, experience that you have to find out on your own, being out there in the field alone. So it was nice to have that, to see that changing. And I think like you said, the industry, I get contacted by manufacturers and things like that, and that's one of their big pushes now is the mobile tech world.
Give us an idea of a typical day, Charlie. What kind of things might you be called to fix?
I'll talk about my yesterday. I'm getting a lot of plumbing repairs for pretty new RVs coming out with improper clamping, improper methods of attaching plumbing, things like that. So a couple RVs this week, actually, I've had to rerun some plumbing underneath, like faucets and different water fixtures, things like that. So, and then being here where I'm at too, we if someone's not knocking at your door at 7 a.m., it's 9 p.m. And if you're in a cold climate, in Florida, I don't see many furnace repairs. When I get to places like this, it's going to be a lot of furnaces, plumbing, some AC stuff. But
you're in Albuquerque, New Mexico, right now.
Albuquerque, New Mexico, yeah.
Yeah.
But it really is regional as far as what you face every day. But it's pretty much the same. Someone's like, hey, we need help. It's our vacation, or I live in my RV. I can't take it in. Can you help me? And so that's where I come in.
And if I can add to that, Mike, Charlie brings up a good point. The manufacturers make full use of mobile techs, and even more so, some of them are even training their own mobile techs within the organization. Suppliers have learned out a while ago to use mobile techs for a lot of repairs, and even some of the dealerships that would have been maybe concerned before about mobile techs taking business or what have you have realized that we can't continue that type of behavior. And so that's what I mean when I say the industry has never been more aligned, more focused, and more dedicated to improving that consumer experience.
You mentioned, Charlie, plumbing things. What other kind of typical things would a consumer call a mobile tech for? I mentioned air conditioning, and you nodded on that. So
I think Curtis did a great job comfort items, right? Like water heater, hot water, air conditioning, keep yourself cool, awning stuff, those tend to be left out in the wind. I was surprised with how much work people still wanted to do on the road, like even reconfiguring sometimes inside of their RV. I enjoy a lot upgrades, so I love upgrading, installing cell boost systems, things like that, making the RV better than it was when when it sat before I got there. So there's
and what's been the average response time for somebody who calls? Is it usually the same day, or is it triage like a hospital? According to how serious your load is.
It depends on the severity, right? If I've got a water leak pouring out of an RV, and I've got a guy who wants a cell booster installed, I'll definitely triage my week and day and make sure that I'm getting to the most important first. But pretty much I run about a week schedule, sometimes 2 weeks out if I'm staying in a place longer and I've had time to talk with staff and introduce myself to neighbors and other RVers in the area.
Overhead, you have a truck, which I
have to pull my RV. Yeah. So one couple of pictures I wanted to send to Kelly were some of how my tools are set up, and it's not a traditional work truck with a big work bed on it. We travel full time, so I have to use. I've got a plumbing container. I've got a electric container. I've got my tools that are all the hand tools that I carry with me, and everything is in a compact form. And because I've worked in the industry so long, the only overhead that I run into is really going to be purchasing new tools that I may not have, which is it doesn't happen often anymore. And then travel, acquiring parts. But that's I'm lucky enough to have a low overhead because I didn't need a lot to start.
I suppose it's like everything else. They say a man never has enough tools, and I would suppose that's doubly true for a mobile tech. Kurt, it occurs to me that some of the folks listening to this are going to say, that's not a bad job. Maybe I ought to think about doing that. What is involved? If somebody comes to you, do you have to have that mechanical background, or is that something you help with teach? And how long does it take to become certified as a mobile tech? Sure.
Yeah. If you think about, our industry, as well as auto, diesel, nurses, we have an aging out population of folks, and in the RV world, the typical technician has been around for a while. They grew up wrenching. Well, that's a dying breed, unfortunately. And so we have created the program to take somebody that knows absolutely nothing and take them to competency as a certified technician. And that's done through, like I said, a standardized curriculum built by the industry. You can do it either online or in person, or a combination of. Obviously, one of the greatest things is to find out if you have aptitude. If you have aptitude and you have interest, as Charlie pointed out, he knew he had aptitude and his interest was there because he pursued it. If you have any type of trades aptitude, and you talk about HVAC, electricians, plumbers. You heard Charlie talk a lot about plumbing. Those systems are all part of a house, and if you have any experience and you've been a fixer in your house, you are ahead of the game and capable of becoming a technician. I will share with you. Amount of time it takes for this? Amount of time to take a level 1 is a 40-hour class that can be done online or in person. So when I say 40 hours, it's typically 8 hours a day for 40 hours. The level 2 gets into troubleshooting and diagnostics, and it's much more extensive, but it's a little over 200 hours. Once again, this can be done online, in person, or it can actually be done in what we call a hybrid form, where you do a good portion of the online and then you either return to a learning partner or to Elkhart to do a week of competency training, and then you test at the end. Each level. And then, just a rough idea of what a busy RV tech could expect to make in an income. You must get that question all the time. Sure, I do. It is really the luxury of being an RV tech is that There are
You're your
people
own
that
boss.
you are your own boss. You can take it. You can work for a dealership. You can work as an independent. You can work as an inspector. You do all of those, and you're in complete control. Meaning that if you want to work full time, you can. As Charlie can probably attest, there's probably days where he wakes up and goes, I'm going to have a couple extra cups of coffee, so I'm putting my sign in. I'm not getting to it. But if he puts his sign out, there's a line waiting. You're in complete control. The salaries, because of that, they range. But a full-time technician, and Charlie, keep me true on this, can start coming out $40,000 to $50,000 if you're doing it full-time. Somebody that doesn't have a lot of experience. In a couple of years, or in just doing a lot of work, six-figure incomes is not off the table. There's numerous techs that are well over six figures. So the luxury is you can make it what you want. The salaries are there. It is, as you can imagine, as a mobile tech, a person sitting in Arizona trying to have a great experience with 3 kids and a dog, and their air goes out. It's amazing what somebody will pay. As a married man myself, you're in control of that too.
I do too. And Charlie, you are a full-time RVer yourself, and you are kind of experiencing the best of both worlds. You're in New Mexico now, and you told me you're on your way to Florida, and you can work your way across the country, literally, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with a little bit of logistics from an accountant, sure. But one thing I find is I thought I'd have to put all this money into a website and all these crazy reviews and running businesses online, and I didn't have to do any of that because the work came so quick and at times was overwhelming that I just haven't had to do that. And I realized that the biggest part of where I get my business is, like I said, just people knowing you're there, talking to them, making sure that they're comfortable, and yeah.
Well, I want to first just thanks you guys for your time, and congratulate Kurt on just how far you guys have come in such a short period of time. And that's a heads off to the industry, because I know the industry wouldn't happen without their support. And I'm going to give you guys my tip on how to find a mobile tech. And it's pretty complicated. You might want to take notes, but here it is. You Google mobile tech near me. It's worked for me every single time I have needed one.
Assuming your GPS is on, right?
Yeah, it's just right on your phone, mobile tech near me, and I have always found one. I use them almost exclusively, and have nothing. I've been talking about just the benefits of having a mobile tech. Mm-hmm. I've had just incredible stories of people who have. The last time I really needed one was I was in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee, and through operator error, I ran over and pulled off a level, one of my equalizing jacks. I couldn't drive, had to get all fixed up. A guy drove an hour and a half to come to me. On his back in the stones, we couldn't, jack up the unit too far. He fixed that thing for me, and the overlay financially was just a couple $100. It would have cost me a fortune in a dealership, and probably several days. I think you guys need a little sign that says hero as well. You too, Kurt, because you help make it happen with all of them.
One thing I've learned is working in dealerships in the RV industry, but also on my own when you interact with people, is one of the biggest things that I do is education. A lot of it is education and giving making sure people know how to use their systems. It helps save them money, preventative maintenance, things like that. And if you can provide that service, they'll always call you, to resolve the things that they can't do on their own. So
awesome. Kurt, we'll put links to the RV Technical Institute right in the show notes and in the description and on the video. And I know you guys are going to do so well. I'll be down to visit you. We'll do a follow-up video on what the training is like. And Charlie, I want to meet you on the road sometime, and we'll have a cup of coffee around a campfire. So
sounds good.
Thank you guys both for being on the podcast.
Thank you also, Mike. You have a good day.
Mike.
Thank you, Curtis.
Take care, Charlie. You're welcome.
Well, we've used RV techs ourselves many times on the road, and I've even had them come to our house and install stuff. I mean,
to our driveway.
Literally to our driveway. And when you factor in the convenience of having them come to you, whether it's in a campground or at your house, and the amount of money that they charge you for a service call and to fix it, it's usually cheaper than you'll get at an RV dealership. I know dealerships are not going to like me saying that, but it's true. So we'll put links to all the stuff we just talked about in the show notes and in the description below. We'll take a quick break and we're back with our questions of the week. When we're asked what's the most important modification we made to our RV, it's an easy answer. Battleborn Batteries. Battleborn Batteries are quality, safe, reliable lithium batteries that allow us to stay out there off the grid longer. Lithium batteries charge faster, they charge fuller, they're longer lasting, they're maintenance free, and Battleborn batteries are protected by a 10-year guarantee. Now, in our case, they just dropped into the existing AGM batteries that we have, and they'll probably be the same on your rig too. Battleborn battery experts can get those in your rig just like they did with ours. They can also match you up with the right cabling, the inverter, the charger, the solar controller, everything. Jennifer and I swear by our Battleborn batteries. They allow us to boondock off the grid. Check them out. Go to rvlifestyle.com/lithium. rvlifestyle.com/lithium.
Welcome back, and now it's time for your questions of the week. And I've got the first question from Rita. I know why you gave this one to me.
It's written to you.
Jennifer, I laughed when I heard you say you were a gym rat. Like you, I'm a fitness addict. How do you do your workouts while traveling? We hike and bike when camping, but that's not enough exercise for me. This is very important for me, and honestly, I'd rather give up camping than working out. My husband loves RVing, but there are two of us involved, and I have my exercise needs as much as he has his camping needs. How do you handle it? Well, I'm sure Mike can say that I get a bit grumpy. I
better be quiet.
Yeah, no. I have to work out. I worked in a gym for 29 years. I've always been extremely active and riding the bike and hiking. I want my machines. I want my weights. When I'm on my treadmill, I set it for a 15-minute mile. That's what I like. If I'm outside, Bo stops every 6 inches to smell something. You just can't get any kind of a pace going. I gave up running. When I used to run, I used to be able to run anywhere and everywhere, and I have run anywhere and everywhere.
Or all around the world, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
In dangerous, war-torn countries, actually.
Yes. In Africa, around the hotel building.
That's another story for another time.
Yeah, so, I mean, you can't live with me if I don't work out. So, and I know that. Everybody knows that in our family. I love working out. It helps me with the endorphins, and it just makes me say, I don't care. I'm so tired when I get done. Anyway, talking too much. So we have to find a gym every now and then to make me happy.
So what is Rita going to do?
Well, Rita can stay every now and then at a hotel if they have exercise equipment. That used to get you really upset when we were on the road, and if we didn't have exercise equipment, we couldn't stay at a hotel if we needed a hotel for some reason. And you got to find gyms. There's usually a local gym, and even if you're driving through town and you stop, use that gym and then move on.
Usually they'll let you use it for a small fee.
Right.
And what we have done is we've joined National Fitness Change. You know, there are several of them out there. And if you are a member, usually you can use the facilities of another franchise holder anywhere in the country. So we've done that with particularly Anytime Fitness a lot.
Mm-hmm. And you're probably like me too. All the eating, I don't want to do all that eating. You know, when everybody gets together and everybody brings all the chips and all that stuff, I don't want to do that.
3,000 meal potluck, 3,000 calorie meal potlucks. Yeah.
I don't enjoy that. I don't feel good. I don't like that. So I want to eat right. And sometimes that's hard to eat right when you're on the road too. But it's important to me to work out. So you have to give and take.
Yeah, it is a give and take. Oh, well, tell your husband I feel his pain. All right, next question. Mike and Jennifer, this comes from Tom. We've heard you use the term day camping before. Can you tell us how that works exactly, and whether it would help us with the real problems we are finding in getting open spots at a campground that haven't been spoken for months ahead of time? We're in a Class C Wayfarer, and because of our jobs, we don't have the luxury of knowing where we can go camping months ahead of time. How could day camping help? Well, as I have referred to day camping, I mean, taking your RV to a really nice park someplace where maybe they don't have overnight camping, but you can stay there all day and use hang out on the beach, hike, picnic, whatever you want, and use your RV as kind of as a place to fix your meals or take a nap or just take a break, check your email, whatever. But the way that could help you, and one of the things that we are telling other people, I've had a lot of people say, hey, I got a reservation for 3 days here, but for these 2 days I can't find anything where we want to be. What can I do? So what you would do is you'd find places you want to day camp. Maybe it's, even some people I know have stayed at roadside turnoffs along lakes and the ocean front. And then you come back and you spend the night in a Walmart or a Cracker Barrel or one of the big box stores that lets RVers stay overnight. So you overnight there, and then always patronize Walmart or whatever business lets you spend the night in their lot, and then you go day camp for the day someplace else. So that way you don't have to quit your trip, and you can use that to sort of supplement filling in the blanks when you can't get a place because all the campgrounds are served. So that's what we mean by day camping. You camp maybe in a Walmart in a really nice area, and then you go hang out in the park with your RV during the day. And when it comes time for night, drive back it's dark anyway. What are you going to do? So using day camping and free spots like Walmart, or even like a Harvest Host, if you can find a place like that, if you can't stay all day, use those around. But day camping is a great way to see a whole bunch of country, to enjoy it, and use your RV. You've got all the, just think if that was your campsite, just use it as your base. You can put your chairs out during the day, catch some rays, but then at night you go someplace free.
It takes some of the pressure off you, the stress of where are we going to go, where are we going to go. You just got to roll with it.
So between day camping and Walmart parking lots, you don't have to come in off the road. Hey, that's the podcast. Hope you guys liked it. We love getting your questions. You can email us. Just send in the questions at mikeandjen@rvlifestyle.com. That's mikeandjen@rvlifestyle.com. And we'll be back next week with another one. We hope to see some of you in Tennessee this Saturday on the 12th of February. We'll be at our place at the Woodlands, and come say hi. Thanks, guys, for watching.
Happy trails.